Rasmus Højlund's received a lot of criticism at the minute, a lot of spotlight for a real tough night at Craven Cottage, really. Could have been hooked at half-time, played a little bit longer than that, Crookie. What have you made of Rasmus since he's come here? How much of it is, like what Paul's saying, he's a young striker himself, not very experienced, nobody to learn off, versus you're still playing for Man United, your own personal attributes, how good are they?
Yeah, listen, I don't think it's for the want to try, and I don't think you can question Højlund's commitment or the heart and desire, but I think you can now question his capabilities. I think he's regressed to me this season. No goals in his last 11 league games, only 2 Premier League goals all season. That isn't good enough, A, for a Manchester United striker, and B, for someone who's cost £72 million. Now, the transfer fee isn't his fault. I think, again, it's a case of United paying over the odds for somebody who really wasn't that sought after by rival clubs, and I've written about it in my notebook on the talkSPORT website today. I feel like Rasmus Højlund is almost on trial now for the rest of the season, because I'm not sure that Ruben Amorim is convinced either by him or Joshua Zirkzee. I think a new number 9 is going to be top of the shopping list come the summer. There are teams in Italy who would take him back. Obviously, he's proven in Serie A. So I think he's going to have to improve tenfold in order to convince people that he is going to be that Manchester United number 9. He's been here 2 years now. He's still a young player, but this is his second season, and I think you would like to have seen more progression.
And where do you stand on this? I don't want to say attribute of blame, but this sort of breakdown, this analysis of Rasmus Højlund, if we're talking about his time here. How much more does he need to improve as an individual versus the team doesn't help him? Because we talk about systems, we talk about he doesn't get enough chances, we talk about who's he learning off. But now it seems the spotlight is pivoting to, like what Crookie's basically saying, how good or bad he actually is as an individual.
It's more than just scoring goals, though, isn't it? In this system, you've got 2 number 10s, you've got the wing-backs you want to bomb on. The job of the number 9, if you're not scoring goals, is to hold the ball up and bring other people into play.
Yeah.
Simple.
He isn't doing it. It's bouncing off him. It's not sticking.
Yeah. There were a couple of situations in that Fulham game where he couldn't even control the ball. His touch was awful, and it's sad to see, but you have to look at, the bottom half of the table. You look at, number 9s or goal scorers. Like, he's not even close with his numbers. He's got 2 Premier League goals. That's the same as someone like Cameron Archer for Southampton. That's the kind of level he's at. Even Wolves for their issues, Ipswich for their issues, they still have somebody that can score goals. And you can complain about the lack of service, and I understand that. But there are stats, comparing him and Joshua Zirkzee, that Zirkzee is taking double the amount of chances. So they're getting the same kind of service, but Zirkzee is actually able to capitalise on it more. And he's had way more criticism. I mean, yeah, he's taken exactly double the amount of shots than Højlund per 90 minutes and more on target. That's somebody who has been, and I'm not Zirkzee's biggest fan, but that's somebody who is new to the club, has had a bit of a torrid time. So I would agree with Crookie that he has definitely regressed, and I would be surprised if he manages to convince Ruben Amorim by the end of this season.
Yeah, no, I agree. I mean, for me, before we move on, I just feel like as a striker at any level, any competent level, your bread and butter is you should be able to have a nice touch, just bring the ball down, bring people into play. If you're not getting chances, you're not getting a look at the goal. It's a team thing, it's a system thing. How my playing style versus the manager and the team, how do we sort that? But especially when you're in a bad team, the team needs to have an outlet to be able to say, can we give it to our striker just to relieve some pressure? Can we get them turned and know when to run far, know when to come near, know when to come off into the pockets and link up, know when to take 1 touch, know when to take 2. Like, he just doesn't have a feel for the game, and I'm not seeing enough improvement in that area. So Rasmus has got a lot to do, but I think it's coming down to, I just don't think he's going to be good enough, if I'm being honest. But it's still early, and I think that thing about on trial, I really agree with that. Just from off the pitch, Paul, we did see some fans confront Sir Jim Ratcliffe, wanting to pose for a picture first, and then saying, we don't want to pose for a picture, and had some unsavoury words to talk about, the ticket prices and really put it on to Jim Ratcliffe. Away from the mode of which it was done, in terms of the sentiment, what did you make about fans, doing that to Sir Jim Ratcliffe and fan discontent at the minute?
They've got every right to be discontented because it's not what they're expecting. Things have been bad under the Glazers, but he's gone now, and he's laying off people, and he's laying off people at the wrong end of the scale. people down there. Then all of a sudden he's talking about the players, the ambassadors, about them. And they do a hell of a lot of travelling for Manchester United. People think it's easy, but yes, it's comfortable. They're not, they're not doing, they're not hard lying what they're doing, but they're still having to give up a lot of time, and they are being paid for it. But then to bring them up and get them involved, it seems to be going about it the wrong way. But then to talk about the pricing, and then you're seeing that, then all of a sudden the next bit is talking about, we've got maybe issues with the PSR, and it could affect. You think yourself, hold a minute. As a fan, you're going, well, that wasn't my fault that you've gone and paid over the odds for these players. It's you haven't done your job, so why should as
why
a
should
fan
we have to foot the bill?
Expect it?
Yeah.
But as long as the fans have gone to him and they've been respectful, but they've got a right to say something to him, and he has to think about what his next move, what he's going to do. He cannot make this all be about a new stadium. It cannot turn it to that, because as far as I'm concerned, if you haven't got a Manchester United team in a decent stadium that is effectively contesting every single trophy available, you haven't. What is the point of having, like Tottenham, having a venue? Because it's not a stadium they want. He wants a venue, and for me, that's not football anymore.
And for you, I mean, a lot of criticism towards Sir Jim Ratcliffe and Ineos since they've come in this first year. Of course, we don't expect them to sort out all the mishaps from the Glazers over the last, 18, 19 years since they've been here in 1 year. But they have to accept that, certain decisions they're making, it's appearing that they're complicit in some of this damage.
Yeah, I mean, I touched on it last week. The Glazers are probably laughing because Sir Jim Ratcliffe, the spotlight is on him now, and a lot of this is still down to the Glazers 100%. But the way that this man has come in, and with this narrative of I'm a Manchester guy, I grew up on a council estate, I understand what it's like, and then to completely go against that, to do an interview with a fanzine praising the Glazers, saying that they're good people. I've spoke about it before, the way that he's completely and utterly disrespected the women's team, who are second in the WSL, might I add. And you then are treating fans the way that you're treating them. The stewards, you're robbing, what was it, £50, £100 steward of the week? You're robbing that from people. The amount of time it would take for that money to even make a dent, even putting these ticket prices up. I think it was forecast to bring in 1.5 million this season, which is Casemiro's wages for a month. Focus on moving players on like that. Focus on things like that. But, you're completely right. Why are fans having to suffer for these, powerful people that are making horrendous decisions? It's not fair.
Yeah, exactly that, guys. And let us know how you feel about Ineos and some of the decisions that they've taken up since arriving at the football club.